So, hello everybody and welcome! Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network here today. We welcome you back here at BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Wednesday, June 3rd. Hopefully everybody is having a good day so far. Wednesday, June 3rd, we're getting closer to, obviously, just getting closer midway through the week. Hopefully everybody's having a good day so far and had a good rest of their day yesterday. We got a ton of sports to get to. I was going to talk, and I'm going to probably do it tomorrow now. I was going to talk about Baker Mayfield and the Browns. Baker Mayfield said how he changed himself and kind of changed his attitude, and is that going to affect his play? I was going to talk about that. But right before I came on air, not even like 3 minutes, right before I came on air, NBA going to vote tomorrow, Thursday, on their return to play plan. They're supposed to play in Orlando, all these teams, 8 regular season games, everything like that. I'm going to give it to you all. So instead of talking about Baker Mayfield, I'm going to swap it because that is huge news in the NBA and in the sports world in general, trying to get sports back up and trying to bounce back from obviously the whole virus and everything. Trying to get sports back up and running is what everybody's main focus is right now, and what I'm hoping happens is sports get back up and running within the next month or two is what I hope happens. But anyway, so we got a ton of sports to talk about. We got Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, and the contract. There's been a lot of talk around, should the Chiefs give him the money? Should they make him the highest paid quarterback, whether that's this season or next season or whenever? Should he be the highest paid quarterback? I'm going to answer that question in just a couple of minutes. Then we have the NBA plan, how it's going to affect some teams, the whole details, everything like that. And then we got the Yankees and the minor league cuts. The Yankees made a crazy amount of cuts today, and I crunched the numbers, and it is horrible how many minor leaguers could get cut at the end of this, by the end of this all. It's really, I don't like it. And I actually was looking at some notes and did some notes and stuff. So we'll get all into that later on in the show. But anyway, so let's get into it. So Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs contract. So, Mahomes, I said this a couple days ago on my pod. Mahomes, in my opinion, is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. The best quarterback in the NFL. Without a doubt. Best quarterback in the NFL. Best all-around quarterback in the NFL. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes now. Best overall quarterback in the NFL. Okay? I broke it down, though. Same thing when I do my all-time team lists. I break it down. You can do the greatest winners. You can do the greatest shooters, which I probably will do tomorrow, the greatest NBA shooters of all time. I'll do my top 10. I might do that tomorrow. I said that yesterday on the pod. One of these days, I'll do it. For NBA, for example, you could do your greatest shooters. You could do your greatest defenders. You could do your greatest winners, right? Same thing with NFL quarterbacks, any position. NFL, you could do, for quarterbacks, you could do your greatest runners. You could do your most powerful arms. You could do your best on the run. You could break it down into so many different categories. Lamar Jackson, best running quarterback in the NFL, you can't even make the argument. In my opinion, I would go completely against you if you said there was another quarterback in the NFL. Okay, maybe if Kyler Murray sprouts out and really has a great year, okay, then I could see. But at the moment, Lamar Jackson is overall the best running quarterback in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, overall the best overall quarterback in the NFL. He's the best overall. Every part of his game is good. It's either great, his throwing on the run is very good. He's got one of the best throws on the run, if not the best. Tua, I'll tell you what, Tua in the league, he's got a very good throw on the run. You might want to watch out for him. Him and Mahomes could be very close with the throw on the run. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tua throw a no-looker. Tua on the run is very good. Probably behind Mahomes might be the best, right? Mahomes is great throw on the run. Got excellent throw power. Is a very, very good route reader. He knows where the defense is. He's very good at reading defenses. You can tell where he throws the ball. That's why his interceptions are so low at only 5 this season. That's why he's third in the NFL in interceptions, because he only threw 5. Right? He only threw 5 interceptions. That's why. He's a very good guy reading defenses. Even his running, and I said this before about almost like Drew Lock. He's not a great runner. He's no Lamar Jackson. He's not Michael Vick. He's not a Randall Cunningham. He's not a Kyler Murray, but he's a good runner. You need him to get you 5, 6, 7 yards, he can get you them. He's not going to run 15, 20 times a game. One, he has a great offensive line, and all he has to do is stand in the pocket and can throw the ball deep to Tyreek Hill. That's really all. Right? Two, he doesn't need a run. Lamar Jackson has a good offensive line, but that's Lamar Jackson's type of game. Mahomes' type of game is either to run out of the pocket and throw it on the run, or stay in the pocket and throw it deep. Got the best arm in the NFL. Without a doubt, it's got the best arm in the NFL. That guy can haul the ball. He can haul the ball. Oh my goodness, it's crazy how far he can throw the ball. It's unbelievable. He's got such good throw power. It's crazy how good of throw power he's got. So, there's been a lot of talk around, the whole, should Mahomes get his contract? Should Mahomes get his money? Now, I think it's a very easy question. Comment down below. Do you think Mahomes should get paid? I think this is a very easy question. I think this is so obvious how easy this is. Mahomes should get his money. Mahomes should. They should make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Not Dak Prescott. Patrick Mahomes. And I was listening to a show like 2 weeks ago, and the guy made a great point. He made an excellent point on Dak Prescott. If the Cowboys want to pay Dak Prescott, and if Dak Prescott wants to become the highest paid quarterback, they're going to have to pay him now. Because there's guys that are coming along. There's guys like a Patrick Mahomes. There's guys like a Deshaun Watson. There's rising stars like a Kyler Murray, right? Guys like that are going to want their money, that are going to want their paychecks. And the more you wait, the longer you wait, the more money Prescott's going to ask for, because you always know all these players grind and work hard to get that big contract, to get that huge contract, to get the big $100 million contract, right? I don't notice it as much in the NFL, but in the MLB, they grind like that, and then when they get their big contract, they start to slack. NFL, I don't notice that. Tom Brady, big contract guy, not slacking. Hasn't slacked. I mean, he's the best if not the best. He's almost like an MJ and LeBron type situation is with him in Montana. It's so debatable. You can make any argument you want, really, who's better, Montana or Brady. I would probably go ahead and say Brady, but that's really anybody's opinion, right? Everybody has their own opinions. So LeBron, MJ, a lot of people I know say LeBron's better. A lot of people I know say Curry's a top 10 player in the NBA. I disagree with that, but, it's all your opinion. Like I said, sports is opinionated. There's no true facts in sports. There's a couple facts. Like the Jets, it's a fact that they have not made the playoffs in the past, 10 years. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. There's facts in sports, but 90% of sports is opinionated. Like I've always said, I could say right now Sam Darnold's the best quarterback in the NFL. I could say Aaron Judge is the best baseball player ever to step foot on a baseball field. Is he? No, but I could say it. I don't think he is, but I can make the argument. I could collect stats compared to players and say, oh, he has this, and this makes him the best, right? Sports is all opinionated. So somebody might say that Patrick Mahomes doesn't deserve the money. Sure, maybe he doesn't. Maybe in their opinion he doesn't. Maybe they have stats and maybe they have data that shows that. But in my opinion, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, and I know Baltimore Ravens fans would say Lamar Jackson. Kansas City Chiefs fans would obviously say Patrick Mahomes. That's why you got to listen to the fans outside of Baltimore and Kansas City that don't root for them. That's why you got to listen to fans like that. Like me, I'm a Jets fan, so I'm not biased to either the Chiefs or the Ravens. I think Mahomes is just overall better. It's true. I mean, it's kind of true. You look at the stats, he's overall a better quarterback. Running, like I've always said, Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the NFL running. But overall, throwing on the run, running, under pressure, all that stuff, reading defenses, that's Mahomes. Mahomes is the best overall. Right? So, Mahomes, here's where I'm going to answer it. I've already kind of did it a couple minutes ago. Mahomes should get paid the money. He should get paid and be the highest paid quarterback in all of the NFL. And here's my reasoning. Best quarterback in the NFL, this guy's got a crazy good future. I could easily see him winning 2, 3, 4 more MVPs without his career. In his career. I really could. I think he could easily win another MVP this year. Although I could also see, I know this might sound outrageous, But if Brady does a good season with the Buccaneers, you know people are going to jump on the Brady bandwagon and vote him as the MVP. Let's just say Brady has an insane year. He's almost back to old Brady from when we saw 2-3 years ago. Not the Brady last year where he missed the Pro Bowl. We're talking about the Brady 2-3 years ago when he was still on that little Super Bowl run. If he goes back to that old Brady, you know, if they make the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, Brady's probably going to win the MVP. But Mahomes should win an MVP. I think Mahomes could very easily win the MVP this year. I think Mahomes could very easily win the MVP again. I think, like I said just a couple minutes ago, I see Mahomes possibly being a 3-time MVP, 4-time MVP, maybe even 5-time MVP by the time his career is over. Right? I really think that Mahomes could have won it last year again. I think it's just because, it's always like that. When new quarterbacks enter the league or when a new player enters the league and he's really making a big impact, everybody's going to go on him. The same thing with Mahomes. In his first season, everybody's like, oh, who's this guy? Came in, best quarterback in the NFL, won the MVP. Last year, Mahomes should have won it again. That's a different story, different day. Mahomes is probably got it. I'm going to predict it right here, folks. June 3rd podcast, 2020. I'm going to say Mahomes, by the end of his career, will probably be a 5-time MVP. I really do. He's unreal. The guy's got raw talent. It's just unbelievable how good he is. He's just so good at everything. And I know you could say, well, hey, look at the receiving core he's got. Hey, look at the head coach he's got. Hey, look at the franchise he's in. Chiefs are a very successful franchise. Meaning, they've been, I shouldn't say successful. They won the Super Bowl, but they're not the most successful. They're not, they're not the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're no, New England Patriots. They're not that. They're very consistent. The Chiefs are like the Seahawks. They're very consistent. Russell Wilson never had a losing season. Chiefs, very consistent. They've always been able to be a good playoff team. Like, you can always say, the Seahawks, you cannot make, that's kind of a fact. The Seahawks are a very consistent team. Every year they're in the playoff talk. Every year every year they pretty much made the playoffs since Wilson got there. Wilson's never had a losing season. That's not opinionated. That's a fact. That's Wilson never had a losing season, right? That's why you got to watch out. This Chiefs team, very consistent. And Mahomes seems very consistent. Yeah, from his first year to his second year, the stats dropped a little bit. From 50 touchdowns, they went down to 26. Yeah, that's going to happen. You're not going to throw 50 touchdowns every year. If that's the case, then you got to check you for steroids. Because no way a player is going to run for either 50 touchdowns or throw for 50 touchdowns every year. Tell you that for sure. No way. No way. I would love to see that. That would be a very interesting story, to be a very interesting topic. Breaking news, quarterback 5 years straight hits 50 touchdowns. Very interesting. That would probably not happen. Probably not. But what I'm trying to say is Mahomes, by far, is the best quarterback in the NFL. The Chiefs should give him the money. The Chiefs should give him the money 100%. And you know how I feel about the Jets right now with Jamal Adams. You know how I feel about that whole situation. Jamal Adams, in my opinion, best safety in the league, give him the money. Right? Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league, give him the money. If you're the best at something in the league, you should get the money. Unless, if you're like an Antonio Brown and you're a head case. Unless that, right? You could be the best receiver in the league, be a head case, right? Antonio Brown was probably the best receiver in the league, was a head case, left Pittsburgh, and now look where he's standing now. Free agency where a team might not even get him, where he might not even step on a football field in 2020, right? So, Mahomes, very good guy. He's a good guy. He hasn't had any off the field issues. So I'm going to get into the real stuff, right? Get out of the football stuff for a little bit. The off the field issues, has not had any of that. He's a good guy. He's humble, right? I think he loves the sport of football. I really do. I think there's something in there's just something in his body that just loves the sport of football, and I think that's why he actually chose it over baseball, because I think he knew there was something going through his head. He knew that he could be a special player. And when he got drafted, a lot of Chiefs fans knew he could be a special player. He really could be. Mahomes, when he got drafted, I didn't really predict it, but from looking at what he did in Texas Tech, he really was special in Texas Tech, and he's even more special in the NFL. Mahomes doesn't have any off-the-field issues, very humble, kind of like quiet. He's not like Antonio Brown. He's not really a loudmouth. He probably gets his trash talking every once in a while. A good dude overall, though, not a guy that you really have to be really, worried about. Like, oh, if we give this guy money, is he going to get, what's going to happen? Is he going to get suspended? Is something going to happen to him? What's going to happen? Right, that's why I think a lot of Chiefs fans, Chiefs players, Chiefs owners, Chiefs owner, Chiefs front office is really like, get this guy the money. No off-the-field issues, no problems with any other players, doesn't cause locker room problems. Antonio Brown, on the other hand, does. Right, not exactly fighting with players. I shouldn't say fighting with players, I mean with the media and everything, causes a lot of stuff with the media, right? Causes a lot of stuff with the media. Mahomes doesn't do that, right? Very good dude overall. I've never met Mahomes. I have met Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams is a very nice dude. I talked to him for a good minute. Very nice dude. Awesome guy. Mahomes I've never talked to in person. I've only seen him. Very humble, good off the field, and the talent, unbelievable. So let's go into the stats. Patrick Mahomes' stats: 4,031 yards last season. That was 10th in the NFL. You know what's interesting? Who leads that category? Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston had the most stats by any NFL quarterback last season. Very interesting. I find that very interesting because Winston's one of the worst players in the NFL. Find it very interesting. I shouldn't say what players. I shouldn't say players. I take that back. I meant quarterbacks. One of the worst quarterbacks. If he keeps on throwing 30 for 30 seasons, if he keeps on throwing 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, then sure, yeah, he's the worst quarterback. 26 touchdowns, that's tied 8th in the NFL. 5 interceptions, that's tied 3rd. And that's QBR of 76.3, that's 2nd in the NFL. Like I said, this guy's unbelievable. And you got to give credit. You really got to give credit to Andy Reid. What this guy did, he really helped Alex Smith. Andy Reid did a heck of a job with Alex Smith. Really helped him get to the playoffs a lot. You learn that in the E60. Andy Reid is a very, very good head coach for Mahomes, a very good offensive-minded coach, a very good guy in the receiving corps, so he's only going to get help from Mahomes. Definitely, Mahomes could not be put in a better position than in Kansas City. And I'm not even kidding. And I'm not even kidding by that. I'm not just saying because they have a Super Bowl. Andy Reid is such a smart guy. That guy eats, breathes, sleeps football. That's what that guy does. He breathes football. He literally everything. Andy Reid reminds me of a Coach O, Ed Orgeron of the LSU. He reminds me of him, except the NFL version. He's just very, he just loves the sport of football. Andy Reid does that. And that's why I was rooting for the Chiefs last year in the Super Bowl. Because Andy Reid he's not had the playoff success. He hasn't. Hasn't had the playoff success. Last year, they won the Super Bowl, or whatever. This season, they won the Super Bowl. The year before that, they lost to New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game on a heartbreak, with D Ford obviously lining up over the line of scrimmage, right? Years before that, they had that big Tennessee Titans game where the Titans roared back and beat them, right? The Chiefs have gotten hit hard in the playoffs. Andy Reid's playoff record is not the most beautiful thing in the world, but what that guy does on the field to get his guys ready for the playoffs is insane, and he deserved that championship 100%. So, my final answer, Mahomes, give him the money. Kansas City, give him the money. He deserves it. He should get it. Best quarterback in the NFL, give him the money. I hope the Jets take what the Kansas City Chiefs. If the Kansas City Chiefs give Mahomes the money, the Jets should really look at them and be like, well, they have the best quarterback, we probably have the best safety. What did they do? Why aren't we giving the best safety the money in the NFL? But they're giving the best quarterback. A little interesting, right? Pay up. Give him the money. Oh, and before that, I'm gonna read his stats. I'm gonna read his stats. Like I read his stats like 3 weeks ago. I'm gonna read his stats again here because I forgot to read the bottom stats here. His career games played is 31, 724 completions, 1,099 attempts, 65.9 rounded up to 66 is his completion percentage. 9,412 yards, 8.6 was his average, 76 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. 89 was his long, 45, he's endured 45 sacks, and 8 fumbles. QBR rating of 108.9. Now, the fumbles last season only had 2. Year before that, in 2018, when they went to the AFC Championship game and the loss, he had 6. So he dropped 4 fumbles. That is a lot. 4 might seem like a small number, but for fumbles, that's a big drop. Big drop for the fumble game. Mahomes, best overall quarterback. Comment down below. Do you think the Chiefs should give him the money? Because I think they should. And by the way, an NFL big contract is nowhere near to the MLB contract, so you might be thinking, well, hasn't he been mad about these MLB players? Yeah, because an NFL player, their contracts, like Le'Veon Bell's right now, or Mosley's, I think it is $85 million for 5 seasons, not $300 million for 10 years. Right? They're still making less money. So, just saying. Alrighty. So, the NBA came out with a huge report. Like I said, I'm 21 minutes into the podcast. They came out with a huge report like 3 minutes before I went on air. Actually, I shouldn't say that. 10 minutes. 3 minutes is exaggerating a little bit. Because here's my thing. I do my pod notes, and then I got it when I was doing my pod notes, so I shouldn't say I was completely on air yet, and I have to set up everything, get my whole, video thing set up. I test the mic, make sure everything's working, so I would say 10 minutes before the pod. So, anyway, 10 minutes before the pod. So, whatever, 10 minutes before I came on air, the NBA came out with a huge thing saying what they're going to do about the playoffs. So, sources, NBA to approve plan for 22-team return with 8 regular season games. And I'm not going to take the credit for this, but I said it, and I have podcast proof. Look at my podcast from last week and the week before. Did I not say? Comment down below if you ever heard me saying that. I gotta give myself credit. Now, they did not get this idea from me, but did I not say? I didn't say play 8 games. I said play 5 or whatever, 7 games. I said play like 5 games, and those teams, those 8 seeds, those 9 seeds that are either going to be barely in or going to be barely out, give them a chance to play their other opponents. Give them a chance. Like, for example, with the NHL, I was going to have, the Devils-Rangers. If the Rangers win that game, they're in the playoffs. If the Devils lose that game, or if the Devils win, the Rangers are out. How cool would it be for that rivalry to be playing in that final game, right? They hate each other, those two teams. Even in the NBA. Grizzlies, Warriors. Grizzlies win. If the Grizzlies win, they're in. If the Warriors win, the Grizzlies are out. How cool would it be to see Ja Morant versus Curry battle for the final game of the season? Even though the Warriors have nothing to play for, that would be pretty cool to see a Ja Morant possibly the Rookie of the Year versus Stephen Curry. That would be very cool. 2 very big names in the NBA, 2 very good players in the NBA. Really would be very interesting. The NBA Board of Governors intends to approve league proposal on the 22-team format to restart the season in Orlando, sources told ESPN. The conference call and vote is set for 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, sources said. So that would be tomorrow. So Thursday, which is tomorrow, they will be doing the whole, the whole big conference call and everything like that. Commissioner Adam Silver and the league's advisory finance committee has shared the board details of the plan with the teams to play at the Walt Disney World Resort, sources said. The plan includes 13 Western Conference teams and 9 Eastern Conference teams, 8 regular season games, a possible play-in tournament for the 8th seed, and playoffs, sources said. The top 16 teams in the Eastern and Western Conference will be joined by teams currently within 6 games of 8th place in the 2 Eastern Conferences. I said this. Did I not literally say this? I literally said this. 8 seeds and 9 seeds would literally be perfect because 8 seeds could get bumped out, 9 seeds could barely squeak their way in. This is very good. I really like this idea. New Orleans. Well, these are the teams that are the 8th place in 2 conferences, or 6 games of 8th place in 2 conferences. So it's the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, the Spurs, the Kings, the Suns, and the Wizards. Sources said. The play-in tournament will include the number 8 and number 9 games. If the 9th seed finishes the regular season within 4 games of the 8th, sources said, in that case, the number 8 seed enters a double elimination tournament and the 9 seed a single elimination tournament, sources said. Teams will begin training at team sites in July and advance to full training camps in Orlando in July, source said. Life in the NBA bubble will be governed by a set of safety protocols, while players and coaches will be allowed to golf, will be allowed to golf or eat and outdoor restaurants. Will also need to maintain social distancing, sources said. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne. Likewise, employees at the Disney Resort will have maintained similar protocols. For example, no staff will be allowed into players' rooms, while hallways will be carefully managed to avoid crowding, sources tell Shelburne. So that is huge. Like I said, all of these other leagues, they're finding their way back. They're getting back. MLB still flat. MLB is still just end the season. NBA, very good news here. I'm going to give it more depth now. So what they're trying to say is I kind of said this on my pod the other day. Give teams like 5 games. Let the teams that are out of the playoffs, or like 9 seeds that are out of the playoffs, let them play against the teams that they're battling for. Like, play 5 games. It doesn't matter if it doesn't fit the schedule. It doesn't matter. Play, like, let's just say the Nets and the Pelicans, or let's just say I don't know. So these are like, let's just say the Wizards played the Magic, or let's say the Wizards played the Nets, right? Final game of the season. Nets win, they're in. Wizards win, they're out. That would be a pretty cool game to watch. Bradley Beal and the Wizards face up against Dinwiddie and Nets, I guess. Because the Nets don't have Kyrie or KD anymore, obviously, with the whole injury thing. But that would be very, very huge. And I'm telling you what, like, I really like this plan. I really do. I really think it's going to be, I think it's a very, very good plan for the NBA, for sports in general, to get sports back up. This is a great, great, great plan. And I'll tell you what, the TV ratings will probably go up because you're going to have big key games like the 8 seeds playing the 9 seeds, final game of the season. You're going to have 8 games to play, so every game's going to matter, right? Every game's going to count. Every game's going to count. You can't say that one game's going to count and the other one ain't. Every single game will count. So you got to be ready for it. Now, a big question that a lot of fans are asking, especially Portland Trailblazers fans. Damian Lillard came out and said about a week ago, if the Trailblazers have no chance, he's not going to play. Trailblazers have a chance here. Is Damian Lillard going to play? I don't know. I think he's kind of being a loser if he doesn't. I shouldn't say loser. I would say he's kind of being not fair to the team if he's not going to play, right? But like I said, I think it's going to be interesting. I think this is very interesting. This all really just came out. I'm kind of new to this too. This all really just kind of came out right before I came on air, like I've said 5 times already. Or 3, whatever. I've said it a couple times today on the podcast already. But it's going to be interesting. That's going to be a big question. Comment down below. Do you think Damian Lillard would play? Because I like Damian Lillard a lot. I've been pulling for Damian Lillard all season. I think he could be an MVP possibility. But since the Trailblazers aren't a good team, they're not in the playoff talks, nobody's talking about Damian Lillard, right? So I like Damian Lillard a lot. I think he's one of the better 3-point shooters in the league right now. He's unreal. I think he's one of the better players in the league right now. I like Damian Lillard a lot. Will he play if the Trailblazers don't have Lillard? Whew. That is going to be a huge loss for them. A huge loss for them. if the Trailblazers don't have Lillard, that would be a huge loss for them. And I ain't just saying that just because, Lillard's a possible MVP. He's a good three-point shooter. He's a good leader. He really helps that team so much win. But just without them, it's like they're average. They're not good. They're struggling this season, but without them, they're like, I don't know. I don't like that Lillard. This is one thing I don't like. I don't like that Lillard said, I'm not going to play if we don't have a chance. Like, come on, just play this. Just come on, play. Come on. Like, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy that, says, I don't want to play because my team doesn't have any shot. I get it, injuries, you got to watch out. I understand. But really, just go out there and help the team. Just go out there and play. Stop, oh, no, I don't want to play because, I get it, injuries and stuff. I get it. But, come on. Just go out there and play. Even if it's not your regular minutes, even if it's 15, 20 minutes a game, just go out there and play. Come on, really? You don't need to go out there and say, I don't want to play because we have no shot. Oh, this is stupid. Oh, no, that. No, that's not being loyal. That's not being loyal. You know how many great players have been on bad teams? And they're still on those bad teams? Okay? Gotta be loyal to your team. Gotta be loyal to your team. Right? And I think that's what I don't like about Lillard right now. Hopefully he plays because I think that would make it a lot interesting, and it could actually help the ratings out if Lillard plays. If Damian Lillard plays, it would actually help the ratings out because Lillard's a big name. A lot of people know who Damian Lillard is. You get Damian Lillard on TV against, Zion Williamson, battling it out for the 8 seed, Zion Lillard, that could get interesting. Could definitely get interesting. That would be a fun game to watch. I would definitely tune in. Trailblazers, Pelicans battled out final seed in the West. That would be very cool. I would honestly go ahead and say that game might get the big ratings. Because Zion, already, Zion, big name, might win a Rookie of the Year just because of his name, right? John Morant's a big name, but, everybody's... Zion's got the big spotlight. He's got the brightest spot. He's got the brightest light. John Morant's got the light. It's not as bright, though. It's not an LED with 100 light bulbs in it, right? Damian Lillard Zion battle would be very cool. I think it would be. I think the NBA would attract even more viewers if Damian Lillard were to play. I hope he does because I like to watch Damian Lillard. Very fun to watch. That Thunder series last year when he won in that buzzer beater. Whew, that was a nice shot. Nice series. That was a very good play by Lillard. And I think that it would really help the NBA out if he would play. But, I'm not the controller of that. I'm just a podcast host who talks about sports, so I'm not going to control his decisions. I just think it would be a good idea. I just think it would be good. I think it would help out the NBA rating-wise. Because I know you don't have to be no diehard NBA fan to know who Damian Lillard is. Damian Lillard he's a household name in the NBA. Very household name. I know a lot of people who don't watch the NBA, and they know who Damian Lillard is, whether it's from watching the playoffs, whether it's just hearing them on the news. You could have the ESPN app and have any sport come up for you, right? I don't watch tennis. I get tennis updates. I don't watch soccer. I get soccer updates on ESPN. There's a lot of stuff revolving around Damian Lillard. I think the ratings would be through the roof for that game. Zion, Damian Lillard. Comment down below. Would that not be a great game to watch? Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers versus Zion and the Pelicans. Final game of the season. Battle it all for who's going to be in the playoffs. Or who's going to go into the double elimination or whatever, single elimination. That would be very, very cool. And as a Nets fan now, I'm not nervous, but we got to play at our A game as a Nets fan. I'm sorry, Knicks fans. It doesn't look like you have a shot because the Knicks are way back in the Eastern Conference. The Nets, this is going to get interesting. The Nets are definitely going to get interesting. I definitely want to see what happens to this whole Nets thing. Definitely going to be interesting because I obviously hope that the Nets are obviously going to win and make the playoffs. 8 games, though, it's a lot for the Nets. The Nets can really mess up in 8 games. The Nets have had a couple bad games this year. that we should have won. We didn't. I can name one off the top of my head, the Memphis Grizzlies game. We let Jay Crowder shoot a final three, and he made it. Jay Crowder should not have hit it, but he did. We've had a couple games this year that we've lost that we shouldn't have lost. We lost to the Atlanta Hawks. We should have done that. We lost to one of the worst teams in the NBA, although they have one of the best, brightest young upcoming stars in Trae Young. So, should be interesting. Very interesting. And I'll tell you what, the Phoenix Suns, too. I think the most underrated player in the NBA right now is Devin Booker. Devin Booker, little Damian Lillard action, little Zion action, Devin Booker in the midst of that would be very cool. This NBA plan will make for good ratings, I think. The ratings will be through the roof, especially if NHL, this is what I'm saying, the MLB, and I said this a couple days ago, MLB requires a certain person to watch. Not everybody can watch the MLB. Most people can sit there and watch an NBA game. Not everybody can watch an MLB because it's a slower paced game. Pitch after pitch. Here comes the pitch, 3-2, foul ball, whatever, right? Things like that. But that's how the game's supposed to be played, right? That same thing with soccer. I could fall asleep watching a soccer game. I think it's boring. I watched the World Cup the France versus Croatia, I think it was. I watched that. And then I watched the U.S. women's team against the other team. I watched 3 minutes of that game. Through my lifetime, I've probably watched a total of 3 minutes of soccer. I am not a big soccer guy. I'll tell you that for sure. I'll probably watch a total of 5 minutes. Through my whole life, I've probably watched a total of 5 minutes of soccer. I don't watch soccer. Nor do I do tennis. Golf, I don't, although I don't watch golf. I don't. Although I did watch the highlights of the match with Peyton Manning, Brady, Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods, just because that was interesting to me. But I'll tell you what, if the MLB is competing, anyway, back to my point with the MLB. MLB has to compete with the NHL and NBA. MLB is going to struggle. NBA with these big name players going up against each other. ESPN has it. That's going to be huge. NHL mid of their playoffs. That's going to be big. MLB just coming back. Could get rough. It could get rough for the MLB. I think this is a great plan. I think this is excellent for the NBA. They're heading in the right direction. MLB almost, it seems like every day just moves backwards. They're supposed to vote tomorrow, the MLB, on their plan. Their owners are very angry about it, so that Players Association's plan probably won't happen. What else do I got in the NBA? Nothing else. That was a very good plan. I like it a lot. I think it's really, really, really good. I really do. And I'm happy that, players, owners, GMs, commissioner, everybody's kind of coming together and trying to get this thing geared in the right direction. As for the MLB, it's almost like everybody's on their side. Owners have their own thing, commissioner has their own thing, and Players Association all the way out in the middle of nowhere with their own thing. So it's very interesting what's going to happen. But I'm hoping that this NBA plan gets approved. It seems like it does, and if that's the case, then we'll get NBA basketball back by July. And like I said, a month or two, I hope sports is back. That's my hope. So that is very good. So now we get into some of the Yankees and their minor league cuts. So the Yankees, among many MLB teams, to cut multiple players due to this whole payroll, the whole virus, the whole MLB not coming back, shutdown type thing. It is very, very annoying as a baseball fan to watch this go through. So, Yankees cut 45 minor league players with fate of MLB season still uncertain. So, I crunched the numbers, and it's not upsetting, it just annoys me how many of these players are getting cut. So, I crunched the numbers, okay? I'll talk about that in a second. So, this is, additionally, the Royals will not have any layoffs for nearly 150 employees, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. So, Tampa So this is Tampa. Obviously, Yankees play there. So the Yankees cut their spring training. So the Yankees cut 45 minor league players on Monday. A team source confirmed the cuts, while part of a normal business of baseball, come as frustration with baseball is growing as they've been outcry over the treatment of minor leaguers. The Yankees are now one of the growing group of teams that made what would amount of normal end spring training cuts over the last week. The Rays also made cuts on Monday, and the Mets made theirs last week. The Royals and the Twins, however, have made a commitment to not make it similar cuts and would continue to play their minor leaguers. I agree with that. So the Yankees are expected to continue to pay the remaining minor leaguers of $400 a week at least through June. $400 a week. All right, not much. These players are going to have to find another job. The Yankees would have cut players twice during spring training, but delayed final cuts. MLB shut down operations on March 12th due to the national COVID-19 crisis. The frustration of business of baseball is growing as the league and the players' union are wrangling over the financial... My cap for my pen fell off. Over the financial issues to restart the operations after a nearly 12-week shutdown due to the coronavirus pandemic. The union shot down the owner's last proposal, which included a sliding scale of pay cuts for the players who have already agreed to portrayed salaries in March. The players sent back another proposal on Sunday that included a larger schedule or a longer season, 114 games, giving the owners expanded playoff for 2020 and 2021 season, the ability to defer $100 million in salaries, and the 2020 postseason is canceled. A fear for the owners because they expected a second wave of the coronavirus pandemic. Under the current proposals, there is likely to be no minor league seasons, but there will be opportunities for higher level players on a taxi squad. Teams would likely keep up to 20 of their top minor league players working out either with the big league club or at their spring training facilities to be ready in case of an injury. With the A's making the decision to stop playing their minor leaguers, the $400 a week, the plight of these players has come for the forefront. On Monday, the World Series champion Nationals reserved their decision to cut minor leaguers stipended by $100 a week. Only after reliever Sean Doolittle went public with the plan for the major league players to pass the hat around to come up with a charity fund for those players. See, that's funny because the reason they're cutting these players is the payroll whole thing, and now these MLB players feel bad for them, so go start a GoFundMe page for them, but you're the reason why? Think about that for 5 seconds. Okay? Interesting, right? I don't know. But anyway, so I did some number crunching, and I came up with what will probably be. So every year they're going to cut minor league players, right? That's what the whole point of spring training is. You're going to cut minor league players. But how many they're cutting and the money they're getting, these guys are in need of money now. Like, these guys are almost considered unemployed. Like, they're not getting much money. Minor leaguers to begin with, especially low A affiliates, they get nothing. Or even like private leagues and stuff like that, nothing. They have to work side jobs in the off season. Not enough money for them. So they're cutting all these players. So now these players need money, but you're complaining about you're only going to make $5 million or $10 million a season. So I did some number crunching. So every year they cut about a dozen of players. So they'll cut 12, 24, whatever players. But this year they're cutting 45 and maybe even more. Maybe even more players. They're only keeping 20 players. That's not enough. They're cutting even more than usual. So if the Yankees cut 45 players cut from the Yankees alone, okay? If the whole league were to cut 45 players, that would equal 1,350 players cut. So 30 MLB teams cut 45 players. That's 1,350. I tallied that up, and I did the number crunching. That is enough for 38 teams to put all those players. You can make 38 teams out of all those cut players. Because each MLB roster has about 35 players. Low A affiliates do 25. So that would mean if you're talking low A, you would even make even more teams. Maybe 40, 43 teams. Somewhere around there. That's enough for 38 teams. The amount of players they're cutting. Oh my goodness, it's outrageous. Whole league would to cut 45. If all 30 MLB teams cut 30 players, that would be 1,350 players cut. Just think about that for a second. Just think about that. Just bring that in perspective. Enough for 38 teams. That's more than MLB. That's 8 more teams. The MLB has 30 teams. That's 8 more teams than the MLB. That is just nuts. That is crazy, 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 crazy. And I feel bad for these these minor league players because their dreams, their MLB dreams, their baseball dreams are kind of crushed. They're gonna go have to find a new job. They need money now because they don't get big pay cuts, paychecks too, because it's a whole payroll reason. It's the whole thing about the payroll. And these MLB players should really feel embarrassed. They should really feel embarrassed because they're making these players really miss out on a dream that these players have had since they were young. And you should feel embarrassed. You're complaining about you're only going to make a couple $1 million this season, and it's going to be threatening to you. Meanwhile, now some of these guys are going to have to start these GoFundMe pages because they don't have enough money to live. Meaning they don't have enough money to, afford some stuff. Like they just can't. Because now their whole paycheck, now that's gone, so now they're going to have to find another job to do. Going to have to get good at that. Some of them will come back. You'll see some of them come back. But I read an article. You'll see 95% of them will not come back. Only about 5% of them will. Because they're going to find another job and they'll probably just get hooked to that and they won't be able to come back to baseball. These guys, man, it's just unbelievable. And I told you what, I'm perfectly fine if the NBA only comes back. I'm perfectly fine if the NHL come back. I'm perfectly fine when the NFL season starts on time. If the MLB doesn't want to come back, and I was talking to somebody the other day, and I told them this: no play, no pay. These MLB players don't want to play. These MLB players don't want to come to an agreement because they're worried about this stupid money. Then you should not even get paid this year. I can care less. If you're only $5 million, oh, it's going to be so threatening to me because I'm only going to make $5 million. Be quiet. Just be quiet. All right? Be quiet. It's ridiculous. It really is. And now they're going to, we feel so bad for them minor league players. Well, if you didn't have to be that selfish, you don't have to, you're so worried about only making $5 million, then this wouldn't be happening. So, shame on you MLB players. Shame on the whole MLB. Owners, I'm 100% on your side with being frustrated with these MLB players. I want baseball to be back, and these guys who are complaining, they should not be playing this season. If they really don't want to play, they're so worried about the money, then don't play and don't get paid anything. Don't get paid anything. You don't want to play, you should not get paid. So it's either you play and you get $5 million this season, or you don't play and you get nothing. You get nothing. All right? What one would you rather? What one would you rather? Infuriated with the MLB right now. Like I said, it's unbelievable. You don't want to no play, no pay, no play, no pay. So it's almost like saying this, and it's exact to this. I don't want to go to work today, but hopefully I get paid. No work, no pay. You can't go. If you don't want to go to work, then you shouldn't get paid. These players are so complaining so much. If there isn't no MLB season, then these players should not even get paid because they deserve their pay if they play. They don't deserve it now. They don't deserve it now. Sure, if they play the season, sure, yeah, they deserve their $5 million. But they're so complaining about their $5 million, then if you don't want to play this year, you're too busy getting caught up on a deal. Would you rather have no money or would you rather get paid some money? One or the other. Let's see. Ridiculous. Because especially if these stadiums don't have fans in them, that's where they get all their money from. You're not going to be able to get enough money to, it's like almost like the college football season. They need to play this year or else college football will never be the same. But it's frustrating, like I said. And the MLB is the only sport struggling. NFL doesn't have to go through this, but it looks like they're good. NBA looking great. NHL already got their plan ready. And here we go, MLB again, another failed plan, and it looks like the MLB isn't in a good spot right now. It almost looks like every day the MLB just takes 5 steps backwards. It just keeps on taking steps backwards. It's almost like every day. It's almost like the MLB looked like the first sporting to come back. It almost looked like the NHL was done. The NHL didn't do anything. NHL was now the first one to come out with their plan. NBA probably will come out with it once everybody I think everybody will be agreed with it tomorrow. So that NBA will probably come back, and NFL looks like they're starting on time. They said they're committed to playing a whole season with fans, and here's the MLB again. So comment down below, what do you think about the whole MLB situation? Really, really, really annoying, in my opinion. I think these players are just being crazy, out of their minds, ridiculous. It's a shame for the MLB. And their ratings have been down the past few years. Their attendance has been down the past few years. MLB almost looks like at the moment they need to do something. Don't look too good for them. So that's what I got for the podcast today. A lot of good sports to talk about today. We got tomorrow, I think we're going to talk about Baker Mayfield and then head into some stuff. 3 comments I want you guys to comment down below. Do you think Mahomes should get paid the money? Do you like the NBA plan? Do you like the NBA plan? And what do you think about the whole baseball situation, the minor league cuts and everything like that, the big money stuff? So those are 3 comments I would like you to comment down below. I always like your guys' comments. I'll respond to them and stuff like that sometimes too, or also like that. Yeah, that's all I got. I covered everything. So hopefully everybody has a good rest of their day today. I'll see you back here tomorrow, and thanks for watching.